Hello and welcome to Two Chicks Tell All. We have Tay Tay here.
And Christy.
So before we start, I just want to sorry, I'm trying to move around.
We gotta adjust. We always
got to adjust.
start and then we're like, okay, we gotta get
It's
comfortable.
real life here. So I just want to give a little disclaimer before we start. As usual, the names and places have been changed to protect everybody involved because I don't want nobody to get doxxed or anything like that.
Exactly. So we have kind of a really full episode that we're going to cover this evening. And we're going to start with some topics of cheating. We're going to go into some stuff about porn, which I'm sure, oh my, porn.
Bow chicka wow
I
wow.
know, right? Getting a little raunchy. And then we're also going to kind of pick up, we'll have this tagged at the end of our discussion of the porn and cheating is our audio recording when we had our little adventure where we went out Saturday, basically trying to promote for one our site, but also to really get some raw talk from some folks. So we went to a restaurant, this little nice bar restaurant venue that is along a water side, and so it's really cool. And we asked folks to be a part of our podcast. So we're gonna play back some of that we did record, and it was kind of interesting. Tay, I think I'll agree because a lot of people were curious about what we were doing, and then a lot of people really want to be recorded.
I thought it was funny that people would come up to us and ask us what we're doing and different things like that. And they would start to tell the stories, but they didn't want to be recorded with the stories. So a lot of people, were not hesitant about sharing the stories. It was the more or less recording of it. And that was even with us saying that, you can use a code name.
Right.
Or
you didn't have to be your real self, and like you're being recorded. You're not like on camera or anything. So, but some of the questions, that'll be played when we go through that episode. But some people were like saying, well, things are still like they were a long time ago, but it's just not, it wasn't talked about then. Like, marriage is cheating, stuff like that. And one lady's like, the first question I ask men when I meet him now is like, well, are you married? And then you got to wonder, is the person being completely honest with you? Because I personally had a situation where there was a gentleman that was kind of being a little flirtatious, and when I finally discovered there was a wedding ring, and then I saw him again another time at a different bar or whatever. But anyway, he was like, oh, well, that doesn't mean we can't have fun. So, I mean, wedding rings don't really mean anything. I guess to some men, I shouldn't say that for everybody. Obviously.
Yes, and I agree because I also have a story. So I'm not going to disclose like what my 9 to 5 job is, 110%, but I deal a lot with like the public and I meet a lot of different types of people. So I met this one guy and he was foreign and he was hot. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, he was a little haughty. So, we were talking and always flirting. And like one day he goes, oh, like, I want to take you out for a drink sometime whenever my schedule slows down. And, we just continued to flirt and stuff like that. Well, one of my coworkers like knew him and said that he was married. Now, mind you, he was not wearing a wedding ring, but I also think that he was also not wearing a wedding ring because of the work that he does.
Right, yeah.
But just because he didn't want to get, like, probably because he didn't want to get all that messed up, but he could also probably use that to his advantage and get him some little little side pussy, if you get what I'm saying.
Right, yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah,
probably
for sure.
what he was trying to do. But,
Yeah.
I was so mad. I'm just like, why do people not take anything seriously anymore? I feel like marriage isn't even a thing that people take 110% seriously anymore.
I do agree. And kudos to the people that do make it, and
Yes.
have long marriages and stuff. And we're definitely not knocking that. I mean, there's a lot of people that make it and everything, but I've been in a career that's allowed me to be around a lot of professional people, and mainly being people of the law profession. And I've definitely seen a lot in that, being in that arena for a long time, and being someone, I've always been single, or I've been in relationships, but never married, so sometimes you can do a little bit of flirting and
Yeah,
but
exactly.
and I never would do. I mean, I've never wanted to be a part of somebody who was being the person cheating with somebody who was married. You know what I mean? So I think there's sometimes we do may have that line crossed sometimes, and maybe sometimes it's not intentional, but I think the people that know, okay, I'm married, I shouldn't be doing this, and they don't need to be doing that. So anyway, we'll play back that part of our recordings after we kind of go into our discussions about the other two topics, which Tay-Tay's going to get us rolling with our cheating. So she's done research on that and has some pretty hot numbers to throw out there about some cheating stats out there that I'm sure we all want to hear.
So, my research was actually very interesting. It was not what I had expected to find. So, I guess we're going to, kind of build on that as I read or as I look at my notes here.
Right, yeah.
We all like to take notes. So, 30 to 60% of married couples will cheat at least once in their marriage. So, that number I kind of found alarming. 30 to 60%, that's a big chunk.
That is a big chunk.
I mean, the 30%, not really that big of a chunk, but the 60%, that's more than half.
Right.
So you're trying to tell me that more than half of the married population will cheat on each other at least once in their marriage. Like that was crazy for me to see that number whenever I was doing my research. So 74% of men and 68% of women admit that they would cheat if they were guaranteed that they would never get caught.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
that, that's a big number too. I mean,
That's a big
70
number.
74% of men and 68% of women.
That's both again over the 50% mark.
Yeah, and they're, everybody just wants to be sneaky, like,
Right.
that they have this new thing now. I mean, I'm not up with the new lingo, but
I'm
we're gonna
way
say it.
behind with the new
So
lingo.
there's this thing I guess called sneaky link, and I guess that sounds like a sneaky link to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we have any viewers that are under the age of 30, please, let us know about this whole sneaky link thing to see what it's really about. 60% of affairs start with close friends or coworkers, which I can kind of
That makes sense.
that does make sense, although I kind of find that shocking because I feel like why would you cheat with somebody who's a close friend?
Right.
Especially because that's definitely a for sure way of getting caught if that's what, if you're not looking to get caught, that's a for sure way, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm supporting cheating by any means. I'm just kind of stating facts here. But coworkers, I can kind of see that because, like they always have the movies where it's like, the guy cheats with his secretary and they
Right.
have like some big steamy affair. So, I guess that's kind of realistic. I mean, I never really thought of it as realistic, but now that I can see that it's realistic.
Right. Yeah.
So the average affair lasts 2 years, just in case anyone was curious. Which, I mean, I was kind of surprised at that. I would think that affairs wouldn't last that long, but hey, I guess, that's how it is. So 68% of marriages break up as a result of an affair being discovered. Once again, more than half. 68% is more than half
Yeah.
of marriages break up as a result of an affair being discovered. So, another thing, statistics show that 56% of men and 34% of women say that their marriages are happy while cheating, so they are unsure why they do it. So, I was a little bit
That's kind of
confused about like that statement because if you're happy and everything is all hunky dory and so
exactly.
like why are you seeking out someone else's attention? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Totally agree.
So American and European women say that they cheat because their partner didn't pay enough attention and they needed to feel sexy, which I can agree with that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight just into my relationship history. So I almost got married back in 2020. So it was like right at the pandemic, like I was about to get married. So me and my fiance at the time, we were supposed to get married in 2020, but then COVID happened and we kind of had to call things off for the time being, like call the wedding off for the time being, just because we have a lot of out of town relatives. So it was just not safe for anybody to be traveling with this virus that just like popped out. So we had rescheduled the wedding for that next year. So my fiance at the time, 5 months before the wedding, decides to break up with me. Well, I found out that he was cheating and he broke up with me, I'm pretty sure, just so he wouldn't feel bad about what he was doing. But it's just like I don't I will never understand that because I paid him plenty of attention. He's the one who wasn't paying me attention. So that's why I kind of find that like interesting. But American and European men said that the person that they had an affair with was hot. Which I don't like to bad talk nobody, but we're going to spill some more tea. So the girl that my ex-fiance cheated on me with, I looked like 10 times better. So I don't know if I believe that statement. I hate to say it. Like, I don't like to toot my own horn. I'm all about empowering women, but I just don't understand that statement.
Right.
So 43.7% of cheating women and 22.2% of cheating men have cheated on their spouse with someone they both know. Which that's
another don't understand.
Yeah, because that's a good way for you to get caught.
Exactly. I think these statistics, like the people that are not getting caught, like some's got to give with some of these somehow. Like the sneaky that we don't ever find out.
I found these on like a psychology website, so you would think that they would really be thinking about like that type of stuff,
right?
But I'm starting to wonder about what we got going on here. So okay, here we go, Christy. 72% of cheated men cheated in a one-night stand, and 53% of women cheated in a one-night stand.
Oh, there you go. Those one-night stands will get you every time.
53% of men have cheated, or I'm sorry, let's see. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes I can't read. 53% of women have cheated on their husband more than once, and 66.9% of men have cheated on their wife more than once. So that's a lot of cheating if you think about it.
I know, right?
So if that would just make me question, like, if you're not happy, just like leave your relationship if you're feeling the need to cheat that many times. But
exactly, yeah.
I have different thoughts whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. Whenever you've been through, whenever you've been cheated on and emotionally manipulated and stuff like that, like you think about a lot of things,
right? Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
All right, so 40% of women and 30% of men engaged in cyber sex with someone other than their spouse. Which, cyber sex, for those that don't know what that is, that would be like getting on a webcam and acting sexy with somebody.
Right, yeah.
Is basically what that is. So 73.7% of females and 48% of males were motivated to be unfaithful in their marriage due to problems in their relationship. Which I think that's what drove my ex-fiance to cheat, honestly, because we did have some problems in our relationship just due to the fact that he was kind of very absent whenever it came to different things. Like, he never really paid me the attention that I deserved or anything like that, and he wanted to put everybody else first. So obviously that kind of stuff's going to create a problem in a relationship.
Right.
So a lot of it was just like himself causing the problems. So that's that. 49.8% of females and 19% of males thought about splitting due to an affair. So
back almost to your halfway point.
Yeah, with again. The women anyway. 30% of females and 15% of males did so to get even with their partner.
Oh, wow. They were like, you do it to me, and I'm going to do it to you.
Monkey see, monkey
right.
do.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so I just have a
And
couple
actually,
more.
I my little one story I can relate in the cheating kind of sense of things was this guy I was dating, and he was literally about one of the first guys. I say guys, I say boys more or less, that I had a really solid long term relationship with, and he just did things that finally drove me to the point where I was done. And it was kind of funny because my boss, he kind of pulled some stuff like he had pulled before, and I went to work and was obviously upset about it or whatever. And this lady I worked for at the time, she was kind of like another mom to me, and she said, I will give you the day off if you get him out of your house. And so I literally took that as a sign, and I called my aunt, who I'm very close to, and I said, will you help me pack up so and so stuff? And she said, yep. So we packed it up, and
Sounds like she was in support of
I
the
know,
idea.
right?
There you
All
go.
for it. And so he came home for lunch that day, and the locksmith happened to be there changing the locks, and I was packing the stuff, and he was like, what's going on? And I said, you're out. You are out. And it was, yeah, he cried and all this kind of stuff. But what was ironic was there was a situation where this girl that worked with him I thought was odd. Like I'd go up there and she'd disappear. It was just like something gave me a sign like something's up. And I even asked him
You have to
about,
trust your gut.
right, yeah, him and this
Yeah.
girl, and he denied anything. Well, after I kicked him out and everything, and of course, he's trying to get, call and all that. And the few times I guess I did talk to him after that, whatever. He finally just openly then says to me, well, I did, you know what, you know who. And I said, you're not telling me anything I didn't figure out. And what was funny is I actually had cheated on him, and it was just this random thing, and I never did it again after that. But I didn't even throw that back up in his face. Like I didn't even take the satisfaction of saying to him, "Well, I cheated on you too." I guess I should have, because it was probably the right moment to throw that back in his face. But I didn't care. I was done and over with him because of other things, and it wasn't like I kind of didn't figure that out. But I went to the doctor then, and got a test to make sure I was good.
Listen, girl, I understand that. I understand
Go
that.
get checked. Anytime you hear
This
that, I cheated on you, better go to that doctor,
this
buddy.
girl went and got tested after she found out what she found out.
That's
Trust me.
right. Mm-mm.
So I just have two more little statistics. Men are more prone to casual and opportunistic cheating and acts of recklessness, and women cheat to address perceived needs, which that kind of makes sense because I feel like women are more emotional, so they're gonna.
Totally agree with
So
that. Yeah.
I can see that whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I just want to go over a couple of movies that kind of unfortunately glamorize cheating. Because I feel like movies about cheating,
Right.
they do
Yes.
kind of glamorize the whole ordeal. But there are some interesting ones out there. So the first one is probably one of my favorite movies ever, just because it's very sexy and steamy. So it's Closer, and it has Jude Law, Clive Owen, Natalie Portman, and Julia Roberts in it. Which Jude Law and Clive Owen, that's all I gotta say about
I
that.
know, right?
So basically, this movie is so crazy because it's like these two couples meet and then they cheat on each other with each other. And then pretty soon just like a whole box of worms gets unloaded and it's just a whole lot of craziness.
Uh-oh.
So it just gets very complicated, and you're gonna want to watch that one if you haven't watched it, because Natalie Portman is a stripper in the movie and she gives Clive Owen a little lap dance and it's pretty hot.
Uh-oh.
Just saying. But that's that. So then the other one that I have is Fatal Attraction, which has Glenn Close and Michael Douglas.
Which that was like, I remember when that movie came out, and that was the talk about of the movie, because that, I think, that opened up, I think, the sense of people thinking, oh, that could have been me. You know what I mean? Or that
Yeah.
could, so I do think that was the one that
So
turned that made people kind of stop and think, is my husband cheating?
so if there are viewers out there that haven't seen this one, so basically it's about a married man's one night stand and she comes back to haunt him and stalks him and all this craziness.
And you'll never look at a bunny the same.
Yeah, you never will. So if you're like faint of heart whenever it comes to animals being hurt, I wouldn't watch this movie.
Don't do it.
So this next one is called Chloe, and it has Liam Neeson, Julianne Moore, and Amanda Seyfried.
And it's an amazing movie. I actually saw that one.
This
It's so
one,
good.
this
So good.
one is a little bit crazy too.
It is crazy.
I love me some Liam Neeson. That's all I'm gonna say too. So a gynecologist suspects her husband of infidelity, and basically what she does is she hires an escort to test his faithfulness. Well, I hate to say it, but it ends up that the man was doing the right thing. He was faithful. And it just ends up with like, I mean, I'm spoiling the ending here, but it just ends up with like Julianne Moore and Amanda Seyfried hooking up, and it gets kind of interesting.
You'll watch it now.
Yeah, you need to go watch it. That's all I'm saying. So then Unfaithful, which I've never actually seen this one, but I know it's a classic whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, apparently. So Richard Gere and Diane Lane. So a New York suburban couple's marriage goes bad when the wife indulges in an adulterous fling. Mm-mm. The last movie that I have, and the last little discussion on cheating that we have, is Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which I've never actually seen this one either, but it has James Spader and Andy McDowell. So a sexually repressed woman's husband has an affair with, or wait, husband has an affair with with this girl's sister, and there's a visitor, and there's an unusual fetish, and it just kind of gets crazy, it sounds like. I might want to see that just to kind of see what the craziness is.
Right.
But that's basically, I guess, a good overview about what cheating is all about, which, like I said, some of the statistics were kind of crazy.
I know, I agree.
So now I'm going to give the mic to Christy, and she's going to talk a little bit about porn.
Yay, I get the porn. Imagine doing research on porn. The things that you kind of have pop up. I was safe though. So porn, and a lot of people maybe won't admit to the fact that they watch porn or whatever, but 2.5 million people visited porn sites in 2022. So about every 60 seconds, somebody was clicking on a porn site.
Yeah.
And the biggest out there is Pornhub, which it generates about 135,000 new users every minute. And it's estimated that 40 million users consume porn regularly. And the porn industry hit $100 billion. So within the past 20 years, that's how much the industry is raking in. So obviously there's business to be made for people that want to go that route. But and then I didn't write down a lot of this, but you can, which I thought was kind of interesting. There is, and I got some of this stuff from earthweb.com and then a husbandhelphaven.com, which was kind of an interesting site. But they tell you how much porn workers make. So if you want to, look into that, then help yourself. But I figured out that was something.
Well, they also have OnlyFans now, and you can get on there and act sexy, and people can pay to see your content. So,
right? Yeah,
there you go.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just the technology, and again, I think opening up, I think the whole, even if you look at cheating porn, whatever, or that whole industry in the sense of online and stuff that's out there now, everything's progressed so much more so since all the online and social media stuff that we've kind of come into. But so how much time do people actually spend on porn sites? Well, 52% of porn users spend only a few seconds to 5 minutes. So, doesn't take long. It's not like you're really, I couldn't imagine like seriously trying to sit there and watch a whole movie on a porn site or
Listen,
even if they're
gets the job
movies,
done.
Right.
Whatever
so
gets the job done. That's
that's half of, so that's kind of funny. Here we're at the half again more, but half of them only a few seconds to 5 minutes. And then 18% stay between 5 to 10 minutes. 16% hang around for 10 to 20 minutes. 6% tend to stay a little longer from 20 to 30 minutes. Dang. You have a wee little 5% who is actually 30 minutes to an hour. And then 1% this 1 to 2 hours. So, yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, I just can't even imagine. Couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
that's a lot of porn.
Yes.
So Pornhub is the rated the top 10 most popular. Now this is kind of interesting. popular porn categories here. So we have
Oh, here we go.
we have the top 10. And number one, which I kind of really thought, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there that I didn't. One thing that was not in this top 10, which I can't believe, was like threesomes. So the
Yeah.
number one was lesbians. So I mean, go figure.
I
You
mean,
know,
guys like to watch girls make out and
right?
have at
Yeah,
it.
but I'm
So
like, so
I
that
can
was
see it.
topping number one was lesbians, and number two was MILF, which
There are some hot mamas out
yeah,
there, though.
you know that.
You know.
I'm not even going to tell. I can't say bad words on here. So if you don't know what that stands for, just Google it. That was number two. Number three was amateur, which I don't know. I would think I wouldn't want to watch somebody to know what they were doing.
No.
Like amateur
Especially if you're
porn.
trying to use this for informational
Right,
purposes,
yeah.
it might teach you what not to do.
I know, right? Crazy. Number four was a little sketchy because I'm like, I don't know about this, but it was teen, like teen porn, which I'm assuming I would hope they would mean over 18. But I don't think I want to go there either. Like,
No, that I
no.
feel like that's a dark
No,
category.
yeah, exactly. So, all right, number five is mature. So that's like falls in the middle with I would hope would be the most normal
So,
type of
what
porn.
what is considered mature
I
porn?
know,
Like
right?
that's what I wonder.
What
Like
what age group are you considering that to be
I
in?
know, right? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, number six was ebony. Number seven, anal sex. So
No, thank you.
no, I don't think I would want to watch that. Number eight was big boobies. So the huge breast, was out there. Everybody's liking their huge breast porn. Number nine is well hung. So you got the big boobs before you got the well hung.
Yeah.
And number 10 was something that it's spelled HENTAI, hentai, I think. And it's like sexual explicit scenes and images, which that could kind of seem a little like maybe perverted. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems a little odd. Like I don't know if
I
that
don't know
would
about that.
be something I would want to be kind of like seeing either. I mean, I would imagine some stuff would get to the point where would that cross a line with something, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree.
So there's approximately 103 porn sites in the US alone. And, when we had our pandemic hit, a new term kind of emerged within the porn industry that was, they said, oh, we've got a porn demic because there was such an excessive use of porn sites being visited during that time. So don't miss the cheating and then we're cheating.
Oh
You were
my.
watching porn, then you went and cheated and all that nonsense.
I got something to add to that. So, at my old apartment complex that I was living at during the pandemic, there was a young lady there who said that she made the most money that she has ever made on OnlyFans during the pandemic. So, there you go.
That is, I mean, it's crazy. I'm telling you, crazy. Well, do what you got to do, but
Yeah.
I
I don't know about
not
that.
for me.
Not for me neither.
All right, so here's some other interesting facts about porn. 70% of actors and actresses in the porn industry or adult film industry have herpes. Go figure, they got
Listen,
herpes.
I would think you would have to get tested regularly to
Right.
be in porn.
Yeah. So a
bunch of sex to be had.
a bunch of them are carrying. They got a little herpes.
Oh boy.
17% of the men in heterosexual porn do not use condoms. So, I would think that would be something maybe they would say that they would have to do.
Oh, man, that's a lot to be passed on. I mean,
that's a lot to be passed on. 1 in 3 men, whether required or in common, dating relationships said that they viewed pornography at least weekly. So 1 out of every 3, which I guess I'd rather than be looking at it than going out and doing something, but
I'd rather them be doing it with me. What you
I
talking
know,
about?
right? Exactly. So, and porn and marriage is kind of another like toughy situation because it says when one spouse is using porn, 68% of couples report a decrease in their sex life, which you would figure. I mean, if you're looking at something else and you're getting your satisfaction off of that, then obviously you're not doing something with your spouse to be able to, satisfy your spouse. So, And then 56% of divorces, at least one spouse has had an obsessive interest in porn, which is kind of a little interesting. Um, it's like what what's the worser of the two? They're either like cheating with somebody else or they're obsessively into porn, and that breaks a marriage up, which I would hope to God that would never happen to me. But
Same here.
so, and if y'all have stories, again, anything we discuss, we want your story. So we'll give all of our info again at the end of the episode. 75% of the time, a spouse porn viewing will soon be discovered on accident. So it's like people that think they might can get away with it. You better guarantee that your hubby or whatever is checking behind you
I mean,
to make sure.
I think I wouldn't care if my spouse was giving it to me quite a bit. Like I would be okay with them watching porn. But however, if they weren't giving it to me and they were sitting there watching porn all the time, I might be a little bit skeptical about what's going on here.
Right, yeah. I know. It'd be like, what? And then what I thought this was kind of crazy because I guess they have to ask this in a situation. You got to come up with statistics somehow. So, but it
Yeah.
says 47% of all US families claim that pornography is an existing problem with someone in their household. I mean, that's kind of crazy, you know. Now
Yeah.
that could be probably to a degree of it could be dirty magazines, I would imagine. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Like
considered
Playboy or
porn. So,
Playgirl. Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I shouldn't probably spill some beans on. No, I better not say that. Better not say that. So anyway, let's just say that you knew when you were young and you knew your daddy had magazines hidden somewhere of the had some pictures in it, you know, because you
Yeah.
know your brother was looking for them. So I'm just kidding.
Right? Yeah.
And then
It's healthy.
okay, this is my shocker
It's
fact.
healthy. I hate to say
I
it.
know, right? It's healthy. Better them doing that, you know, if
Yeah.
the parents aren't talking to them about it. But this was actually a shocker to me when I read this. But it said 11 years old is the age at which the average child will be exposed to porn.
I feel like at
And I almost
11
feel like
years
it's
old,
almost like
yeah.
like that's still a little kid.
At
That's
11 years old, I was just learning about the birds and the
right,
bees.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
so much different now, I think too. It's so
Yeah.
much different. So, but yeah, and they're getting exposed to so much stuff in school.
TikTok.
So, yeah. 75% of teenagers say that their parents have never discussed porn with them. So, you know, yet again, I think, and I'm not even a parent. I'm not one to sit here and judge people that are parents, but
Although people have thought that you're my mom out in
I know,
public.
right? Yeah, yeah, we got to call mother daughter. But I will say that I think the key, and I was always, even at a young age, I could talk to my mom about anything. I might not could talk to my dad about stuff, but I could talk to my mom about anything. And I just think that and hope that parents out there take your kids aside and just give them that open communication and just say, if there is this, I can remember my mother to this day saying this to me. If there's ever anything you need to talk to me about, you come to me. I don't care what it is. I don't care. You come to me. Anything. And I mean, she instilled that in us. And I did. There was not ever anything that I did not talk about with my parents. And I'm talking even like to when I was older, got older, sexual stuff. You know, I openly talked to my mother and my father about stuff. I mean, some of my friends would be like, I would say something and I would say, and I told my dad this or I told, and they, you told your mom, they couldn't believe it, and I'm like, look, you know, open communication. I think the parents want that. Maybe they're afraid to open that line up, but I promise it's much better to keep it instilled in your kids that it's okay for them to come to you about anything. So anyway, I'll get up on a little soapbox about that. So a couple more things we got, and they'll wrap it up here soon. 42% of teens frequently clear their browsing history to hide porn usage from their parents. So, you know, if you don't think your kids are out there surfing for some porn, you might want to go check their browser. 116,000 people will use search engines to look for child pornography every single day, which is another
That's
very
sickening.
frightful thing.
That's sickening.
Like I can't even begin. And I honestly, I had not this happened to me, but there was somebody I knew through someone else, and I met this person, hung out with this person and stuff. and years after I wasn't even kind of with this person that knew this person, it came out where these guys went to jail because of child pornography. And I just could not, I was mortified because like I knew these people. Like I actually worked for this man for some odd jobs because he had this type of business where he needed people to come and help him out and do stuff. And not only that, the guy I was with, his mother, like personally knew these people really well because they lived within the same little subdivision. And I just couldn't believe it. So anyway, but that's not anything we want to really talk about. But
Right.
so 30% of our of working adults admit to downloading or viewing porn at their job sites on their job. So, imagine your boss comes and says, dude, you're out. You're out. You've been looking at too much porn. And then human resource professionals discovered porn on employees' work computers. 43% say that it happens regularly. So, I mean, it's like a lot of people are working and looking at some porn. So, and then 50% of the professional performers in porn. Oh, this is a really interesting fact, which you kind of got to figure they got to be doing something to be able to do this. Like, I can't imagine. Not many people making it. I don't think are big star. I don't even want to go there. But there's only
Oh,
one
man.
that Jeremy something I always knew they would say.
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. But
Yeah.
so but 50% of the professional performers in porn use ecstasy. So gotta do something to do something. 79% use marijuana and 44% use cocaine. So
I have a quick story to add to that. So I was talking to this guy that I met at the bar. Obviously, this was quite a while back, and he said that he uses cocaine to enhance his sex drive.
well, there you go.
And he was trying to, get with me. I'm like, no thanks.
No, thank you. So yeah, that's some stats on some porn. So I'll tell you what, interesting stuff we have out there, Tay. Interesting stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this little section up, but we're gonna play back basically our recordings from our experience last Saturday. So we'll close this with again thanking everybody for listening and supporting us. And Tay can give all our info out. We're on Patreon, Spotify.
Yes. Check out our Patreon. Pay $3 a month to get access to all of our podcasts. And as we continue to grow, we're going to be doing some more crazy things on there. So you're going to want to be subscribed.
Yes, do that.
We're on Spotify as well. And if you have any crazy stories or any interesting comments that you want to share about any one of our podcasts, please don't be afraid to email us at twochickstellall@gmail.com.
Yes, we definitely want to hear your stories and other episode ideas as well. I think we had talked about our next one we were gonna, but it's kind of like we covered some of the stuff we're gonna throw in our sex episode. So
yeah,
we'll kind of toss around some stuff and figure out what our next Wednesday episode will be on. But I think you'll enjoy hearing our pre-recorded stuff from Saturday. It was pretty funny, and we're definitely going to do this again and maybe try to like I think talk to people ahead of time and just kind of prep them, not really prep them, but just we were kind of in a situation where we really couldn't approach people at this restaurant that were kind of like sitting at tables and stuff. So we had to be really careful about either catching them as they were coming in or as they were getting up to leave. So I think if we could maybe do it again where we're kind of at free range to approach people, because Tay and I, we ain't scared of nobody. So,
No.
we gonna come up and ask you. We was trying to drag people up there to talk and they were just like, nah.
I'm just like, you look interesting. Come on over.
That's right. We want to hear your story. So we're definitely gonna do another like raw talk where we kind of hit folks again and get some more pre-recorded stuff. So we appreciate again you listening, and like I said, keep listening because you've got another, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes of some juicy stuff that we got from some folks while we were
Yeah,
out
and they
Saturday.
were some interesting folks. That's all I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
say.
So, and of course, most of them had already been into a couple cocktails. So, and we got a little rowdy. We laughed, we laughed, we laughed. It was so much fun. So enjoy that episode, and we look forward to hearing. We look forward to you hearing our next episode when we tune back in next week. So, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Signing off.